What's your favorite story, buddy?
Peter Pan. I like Peter Pan.
All right, should I start reading?
This is a video. Not like that.
Oh, okay.
We can't see
And
Jake.
we have Peter Pan.
Jake on your
So,
lap.
this is the classic
Yeah.
Peter Pan. Wendy Darling and her brothers,
There's two Peter Pans.
Little John and Michael. What was
I
it?
can't
There's
see
Little John and there's Michael.
I cannot.
They were restless. It was almost their bedtime, but they weren't sleepy at all. What shall we play? Asked John with a sigh. I'm tired of all our old games. Well, said Wendy, I could tell you a story about Peter Pan. Hooray! Shouted Michael and John. So Wendy told them about Peter Pan and the pirates. Pirates. Hold up a pirate. We have a pirate example right there.
But it's not a real pirate.
No. Wendy knew lots of stories about Peter Pan. Peter was a magical boy who lived in Neverland with his friends, the Lost Boys, and a pixie named Tinkerbell. In Wendy's stories, Peter and his friends had tons of exciting adventures. After Wendy had finished the story, John and Michael pretended to be pirates. Take that, shouted John as he waved his toy sword. Wave your sword. All right. Just then, the children heard a voice just outside their window. It must be around here somewhere, the voice said. The children looked out. It was
Peter Pan.
yeah, and there's Peter Pan coming in their window.
Okay, now.
Oh, sorry about that. There you go.
Do you want to sit over
Pan
here?
coming in the window. Peter flew by the nursery window often. He loved Wendy's stories, especially since they were all about him. But the last time he had visited the nursery, he had left something behind. What did he leave behind?
His shadow.
Have you seen my shadow? Peter asked. Oh, Peter, Wendy said with a chuckle. Here's your shadow. She had it right there. Now you sit down and I'll sew it back on. Can you sew your
Hey, Captain,
Can you sew your shadow to your foot?
how can you sew shadows?
Oh, While Wendy sewed Peter's shadow back on, her brothers asked him about Neverland. Neverland, said Peter with a laugh. It's a wonderful place. I'll take you there, he offered. Once we're there, Wendy, you can tell the Lost Boys your stories, and John and Michael can help us fight pirates. But how can we get there, Wendy asked. Oh, that's easy. All you've got to do is fly. Just think happy thoughts, Peter told them. The children thought their happiest thoughts, but they still couldn't fly. We won't be able to go with you, said a disappointed Wendy. Peter was puzzled for a moment. Then he laughed. I forgot the
Pixie dust.
The pixie dust, he said. He sprinkled some of Tinkerbell's magic dust on the children, and in no time at all, they were flying to Neverland. Before the children knew it, they had reached Neverland. Wendy sighed and said, Oh, Peter, it's as beautiful as I thought it would be. Suddenly, they heard a mighty boom, and a cannonball zoomed past them. From the ship below. It had come from the pirate ship below, you're right. Captain Hook, Peter's enemy. The captain had lost his left hand fighting with Peter, and a hungry crocodile had swallowed it. Now Captain Hook spent all of his time trying to catch Peter Pan. Oh, don't be scared, said Peter. We can outfly him easily. Peter brought Wendy and her brothers to his home. They lived in a secret underground hideout with the Lost Boys and Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell. The Lost Boys were waiting outside to welcome Peter Pan and his new friends. They were happy to hear that Wendy was going to tell them stories. But Tinkerbell was unhappy. She thought Peter Pan liked his new friends better than he liked her. So she jealously flew away. Later, the Lost Boys offered to take Michael and John on a tour of Neverland. Oh boy, said Michael as they marched through the jungle. I bet we'll have plenty of exciting adventures here. As the boys followed John through the jungle, none of them noticed the mysterious eyes that watched them from behind the bushes and trees. What were the eyes?
Indian.
Got it. Both of you got it. And without warning, a group of Indians jumped out and grabbed the boys. The Indians tied the boys. It wasn't Captain Hook yet, sure. The Indians tied up the boys and took them to the Indian village. At the village, the Indian chief was waiting for them. He was very angry. Where's my daughter, Princess Tiger Lily? He asked the Lost Boys. What have you done with her?
I can't see.
Have you done anything with Tiger Lily?
No.
No, we hadn't done anything with her, said the boys. Will you let us go now, please? No, said the chief. Well, I have to be able to see it, buddy.
No, you can't see when I hold it.
Meanwhile, Peter was giving... Okay, I'll hold this side. There we
He
go.
kept it hooked. I said
There he is down there, huh? Meanwhile, Peter was giving Wendy her own tour of Neverland. As they flew, Peter suddenly noticed Captain Hook and his first mate, Mr. Smee, in a rowboat. And in that boat was Princess Tiger Lily. Let me show this picture to everybody else. They were heading for Skull Rock, and they had Princess Tiger Lily tied up in their boat. Peter Pan and Wendy flew closer. Now, if you don't tell me where Peter Pan's secret hideout is, then we're going to leave you here, Captain Hook said to Tiger Lily. But Tiger Lily refused to even look at Captain Hook. At once, Peter flew down to rescue Tiger Lily. Stop what you're doing, Hook, or you're going to have to answer to me, Peter shouted. Captain Hook and Peter began fighting, but Peter was too quick for the captain. In the water nearby, a hungry crocodile was laying in wait, watching Captain Hook. It was the same crocodile that had once swallowed Hook's hand. And the crocodile had liked the taste so much that he followed Hook always around, hoping to get another taste. Hook was no match for Peter. Let me hold it out here so everybody else can see. Hook was no match for Peter Pan, and soon he fell into the water. The crocodile had been waiting for his chance. Almost got Captain Hook. Hook, however, was determined to escape the gaping jaws. Smee! He shouted. Save me! I'm coming, Captain. I'm coming. Hold on! Smee shouted as he rowed toward Hook. And that meant that while Smee rescued Hook from the crocodile, Peter quickly untied Tiger Lily. Then Peter Pan flew away, carrying her in his arms, and Wendy followed them to the Indian village. It's a good thing, because remember who was at the Indian village? The Indians and the Lost Boys were all tied up. The chief was very happy to get his daughter back. He released the boys at once, and then he gave orders for a big celebration. Everyone sang and danced and had a wonderful time. After the party, Wendy and all the boys went back to the secret hideout. Let me just hold it up just a little bit. Tinkerbell hadn't gone to the party. She was still jealous of Wendy and afraid that Peter Pan liked him more than her. So she flew out by herself. She was so angry that she didn't notice someone else was watching her. Suddenly the little pixie